few hours ago, we got the big news about the New York Knicks moving off of head coach Tom Thibodeau after 5 years, and especially coming off of their most successful season since 1999, going back to the Eastern Conference Finals, losing in 6 to the Pacers. And it certainly is a interesting decision. Now, I am not a big NBA fan, nor am I a Knicks fan, so I can't really sit here and give you really a breakdown. Is this a right decision? Is it the wrong decision? It's more of just kind of like, if you want to say, casual, outside perspective. I see a lot of Knicks fans that say this was the right decision, so if there's a good majority that say that, I do have to buy into and believe that, yes, it was the right decision to move off of Thibodeau. But it is interesting because of, again, you look at his resume with the team, 226 and 174, or a .556 win percentage, 24 and 23 in the playoffs, so one game over 500. 4 playoff appearances in 5 years with the Knicks, and of course, like we talked about, they've gone. This is the first time they've gone to the Eastern Conference Finals since 1999, when they went to the NBA Finals. At that point, and it's a very intriguing decision. I can kind of try. I can almost compare it in a way. I get it because of being a Bills fan with Sean McDermott, or it's the similar suit where it feels like you keep hitting your head on the ceiling. And maybe the outside perspective is, there's nothing wrong with Sean McDermott. Look what he's done. But as fans, we know that it could be much better. So I get, again, from the Knicks perspective and the fans, that I guess I can kind of compare that to that, where it just feels like you just keep hitting a wall and you kind of reach your limit with Thibodeau. But I do worry that we haven't seen the fullest of it, because it's not like the Knicks, again, how I look at it, it's not like the Knicks peaked years ago and they've just kind of fallen off. It's not like a situation like the Bucks, where they go and they get the ultimate goal of win NBA Finals a few years ago, and then they've come up short ever since then, greatly, each of the last few years. Now there's been injuries and so forth with that, reasons why they've kind of come up short in playoff time. But certainly it's not a drastic thing like that. They're not in a down trajectory. It's the opposite. I get the last few years they've kind of hit their heads at the second round. And if they would have lost in the second round again this year, I could understand the notion of firing him. But you kind of break through, and again, you make it there for the first time since 1999, and that is certainly a big accomplishment. And it seems like you're kind of on the upward trajectory with that, and that's the standard now of that. So again, it's not like the opposite, where they made the Eastern Conference Finals 3-4 years ago and it's been downhill since. It's been kind of upward. They finally break through. I'm not sitting here and saying that next year they're going to make the NBA Finals because of that. But again, you just look at what he's done. It is an interesting move, and I as right now, I don't know if New York is yet a destination that people have on the top of their list to go to. And there's many coaches that people are throwing out. Malone, former Denver's coach, is that that's one name I've heard a lot of as well, and certainly has had more recent success as a head coach than Thibodeau, of course, or accomplished more in the last few years than Thibodeau. So you have that. You have good pieces that are certainly attractable. You have Jalen Brunson, of course. You have Karl-Anthony Towns they just brought in his first year there. So you look at that, and you have two great players in that instance. And again, making the Eastern Conference Finals, it may be appealing because of that, trying to strike when the iron's hot in that perspective. But I just don't know if the Knicks yet are a destination where team or players are going to flock to, or coaches are going to flock to and be on the top of the list because of that. I think they have to show a little bit more of it. Now, certainly they've done a lot better in recent years as opposed to, before that, of not missing the playoffs multiple years. They've gone to the second round a few years in a row, and again, Eastern Conference Finals this playoff run. But again, it's very interesting. Again, an outside perspective for myself. I'm again throwing out there casual, not really being plugged into the NBA and watching it in depth as other sports I have passions for. So again, just outside perspective, it does seem quite interesting that the Knicks would move off of Thibodeau. But again, because of the frustrations of what I said about kind of hitting your head on the ceiling and peaking, if you think this is the highest that Thibodeau can take you, I completely understand that perspective from Knicks fans and why they feel that way and why they're happy to move off it. But I do worry, is there truly a upgrade out there that's, that you feel confident saying, we're going to make it the Eastern Conference Finals multiple times now, or dare I say go to the NBA Finals and get that. So, it's going to be quite interesting in what the Knicks do, and I do worry that they, certainly this could backfire, and they kind of, fall flat a little bit because of the next hiring if it doesn't work out, and they go back to, the same old Knicks of how they've been in years past. So I hope for their sake it doesn't happen to that, because it's great to see the Knicks be successful. Certainly, again, you look at how long it's been just getting to the third round of that stage. I couldn't even imagine how Knicks fans would feel if they made the NBA Finals at this point. So it feels like you're right there. Is there luck, of course, because of the Celtics with injuries and so forth? Did it feel like almost it was your Cinderella run and meant to be in a way? I get it's certainly that it did feel like that a little bit. So again, you look at that, you want to take advantage of the situation of getting this far and trying to capitalize on the recent success you had. So hopefully from their sake that they can attract whoever coach it is, Malone or whoever that may be, to try and take this team up and push it to the next level. I do think they are missing a few players, at least another, I think a third player if you want to still believe in the big three standpoint. I think you need someone else to kind of complement Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns. I know Hart has been a little bit controversial in the playoffs a little bit. So again, I think maybe there's a little bit, a few more players to add, but certainly the high coaching, hopefully they can knock it out of the park there and they don't kind of fall back to the same old Knicks and they can just keep building off of what they've done this past playoff run.